Sups up everyone, welcome to another video. And actually today you guys have no idea what's happening. In fact, I've been trying to set this situation up for quite a while here. I actually have a viewer with me on Discord, you guys will hear him in a bit, who has reached out and wanted to discuss, or in a way maybe a friendly debate when it comes to Hu Tao and her relevancy in current Genshin Impact. And I made a video a couple days ago, I believe a day or two ago. If you guys haven't watched it, it probably will be best for your viewing experience if you've watched that video. I'll link it up on screen. But here is the viewer. They want to stay anonymous, so I'll just get him to introduce him in terms of Genshin, right? So here, would you be able to tell us what AR you are, how long you've been playing Genshin, as well as who are you maining or play the most?
Hello guys, I am Enje. I've been playing ever since Genshin Impact launched pretty much. I am AR60. I have been clearing its endgame content ever since its first month. After, like, at the end of 1.0, we've been started clearing the Spiral Abyss. And I wanted to talk about Hu Tao. Yeah, I'm actually maining her, newsflash, in case you didn't understand.
Of course.
Ever since her banner dropped, I rolled for her, I got her C1 and stuff of Homa. Before I went to the C1 though, I played through her C0 experience. So
okay, that's a great starting place, because I think a lot of people who haven't played Hu Tao, who are on the fence about Hu Tao, constantly hears this argument, is that C0 Hu Tao essentially forces you to jump cancel. Now, I've made my remarks saying that yes, that is pretty much true. If you are a C0 Hu Tao player, jump cancel is almost inevitable. Now, Angie, can you talk a little bit about whether you feel like C0 Hu Tao, whether that's true about C0 Hu Tao, and whether or not you think that's a minus for the character?
It depends on how much you want to invest, actually. While it is partially true, nobody forces you to spam charge attacks with Hu Tao, you know?
Interesting. Okay, so then let's continue down that. So you're suggesting that C0 Hu Tao, if you don't want to play charge attack, you can play auto attack. And are you? Yeah, can you share with us a team for that composition?
There is only one Hu Tao team in my head. I'll go to there later. There is only one actually good Hu Tao team, and that's with Zhongli, Yelan, and Xingqiu.
Okay.
Now, let me get to my point. We do agree that as a low spending player or a free-to-play, it is more efficient to invest in quick swap comps, right? You know, Vape with Xiangling Bennett, Xingqiu and Sucrose, and Hyperbloom with Cookie, a Hydro, and a Dendro character.
Right.
Can we agree on that?
Yes, that is probably right now the best investment, like low spenders free-to-plays can be making. That is correct.
People have to understand that quick swap comps are better than hypercarry comps if you don't invest a lot in a single hypercarry. That being Hu Tao, that being Yoimiya, that being Xiao. A full invested Xiao, like a fellow content creator, Zyux, has, with the C6 Faruzan and C6 Xiao, he will destroy everything. He will outperform any quick swap comp. That's what people have to understand. Like you said in another video of yours, don't settle for mediocrity. Why would I sell down with a C0 Hu Tao with Refinement 5 Dragon's Bane?
Right. I think that's a great point, because then we're kind of going from C0 Hu Tao to, we're basically saying, like, if you are going to invest in hypercarries, because by now we're categorizing Hu Tao as a hypercarry, and if we're going to invest in Hu Tao, in like even Yoimiya you were mentioning, we have Ayaka, not a hypercarry, but you know, Ayaka has a dedicated 5-star support, which I believe she's the only one in the game right now. I mean, Cryo is the only category in the game with a 5-star dedicated Cryo support. On top of that, Ito, Zhao, Scaramouche, these are all hypercarry units, and if you decide as a player to invest into these characters, don't settle just for the bare minimum, like a C0 with a free-to-play weapon, and just chill like that, and then say, well, the character doesn't feel very strong, because your argument is that these characters were never designed to be played as the bare bones minimum. They're always designed to be, you know, invested into vertically as characters, and that's when they truly shine as hyper carry units. Is that correct?
Precisely. Why would you settle for mediocrity? Why would I settle down with the C0 Hu Tao? I want to go higher. In fact, I'm rolling for her. Next banner.
So you're going for C2 now. You're at C0, C1.
I'm gonna go all the way to C6.
Oh my goodness, my lord. Okay, so then let's talk about Hu Tao's value then. Okay, so when I mention Hu Tao is overrated, because I think this is the gem of this discussion, is that do you feel like currently Hu Tao as a character is overrated by the community? And before you answer, my take is that I feel like there's a lot of people who are not being truthful to her performance when it comes to, let's say, C0 Hu Tao. I do think C0 Hu Tao leaves much to be desired for many people. I'm not saying for me particularly. I think I can get away with C0 Hu Tao, especially as somebody who's played her for so long now. Mechanically, I think I can get away with it, but there's a ton of people who just have no idea what they're getting themselves into when they're thinking, oh, Hu Tao's great, right? I can play her C0, I'm gonna get a free-to-play weapon, and she's gonna do 100,000 plus vapes consistently. That's what they think, right? That's where my, oh, she is overrated, because people make her sound to be this plug-and-play character when she, in fact, is likely one of the more difficult characters to perfect, and she's not plug-and-play. So what do you think of that?
Depends on what level of investment we're talking about. If we are talking about the C0 Hu Tao without her signature weapon, yeah, people are way overrating her, because there is literally no reason to play a C0 Hu Tao over your C6 Xiangling.
Right, okay. I see. So, and in terms of DPS, like Xiangling is a much more low effort and higher performance DPS. I guess that's what we want to get at here, right? So for people who are watching right now, like if you are, let's say, at a C4 Xiangling, C3 Xiangling, it may be in your best interest to just get the last 3 constellations for Xiangling as opposed to investing in a Hu Tao altogether, because Hu Tao as a hyper carry doesn't really live up to her potential as a C0, and you're just feeding her like a Dragon's Bane R1, right? And you're thinking you're gonna go out there and smash the world with it, where in fact you're really gonna be spending a week just to perfect her animation canceling, and then come to the harsh realization that you have hyper invested into a character that is not going to perform at the level that you thought she was going to be.
Yep.
Okay.
Precisely.
So,
but if we're talking about T1 with R1 Homa, that's a whole different topic.
That's
C1,
exactly.
T1 R1 Hu Tao, of course, in the double Hydro comp, because there is no reason to play very decent Hu Tao. You know, the Bennett.
Yeah. Funnily enough, when I first started Hu Tao, I loved playing Bennett Hu Tao. I know you're cringing. I can hear you cringing right now, but give me a chance.
Oh, I played the Hu Tao Bennett to clear the previous Spiral Abyss with the Hound, you know?
Yeah, like
I'm not at all.
Yeah, there are special. I mean, like there are people who are watching who are cringing. I even had a video, the famous Chi battery video. If you guys have never seen it before, I said you use Chi for Eula battery. I said you use Bennett for Hu Tao battery. I know. But besides the point is that when it comes to Hu Tao, I loved how this conversation is evolving into now C1 R1 Hu Tao. This is so important, because do you feel like, Anji, that this should be the bare minimum entry requirement for people who are looking to invest into Hu Tao? I know it sounds weird to say like, oh, you should at least get her to C1 R1. Do you feel like C1 R1 is a bare minimum entry for Hu Tao, or do you feel like you can get away with C1, maybe a Dragon's Bane? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, a part of me wants to say that C1 is enough, because it really is enough. But Staff of Homa gives so much for Hu Tao. Like, it gives everything that Hu Tao needs. It gives her HP, which is scaled up. It gives her critical damage, which she appreciates. I mean, every single character appreciates crit damage when they are a hyper carry. Newsflash.
Yeah, and it also helps that Staff of Homa is just the best spear in the game. Pretty much. Yeah, it is the best spear in the game.
Nothing comes close. Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing.
And that's, and people watching, that's even considering that most, if not all other spear characters can't even use Staff of Homa's passive skill, right? Like, because that effect only triggers when you go below half health. So yes, it's a staff that's made for Hu Tao, and most characters can't even utilize it, and yet that staff is still so sought after by so many characters. Like, I mean, Xiangling can use it, Raiden Shogun can use it, Zhao can use it. It's such a great weapon. So when you're investing into a Staff of Homa, remember that you're likely not just investing for your Hu Tao. There are so many other amazing spear users in the game that can use that weapon. So by that argument, are we insinuating that C1 R1 Hu Tao should be what people go for, or you should just skip Hu Tao? Is that what we're suggesting here?
You can't go for C1R1. You are good with your Xiangling. People have to understand that hyper carry 5 stars are meant to be expensive.
I love that because it just makes sense from HoYoverse's perspective, right? If you want these amazing, like, over the top characters in terms of power levels, then you gotta put in whether it's swipe the credit card or you save extra long. Because for HoYoverse, you're still having to expend these resources to get these characters. Like, they don't care if you wait for 6 months or you swipe your credit card, but they're meant to be expensive. But then here's another thing, right? With the release of we were mentioning Hyperbloom and these Dendro units, when we see Alhaitham at C0 with a free-to-play weapon and a free-to-play team rival Hu Tao's performance, even at C1 R1, right? Rivaling, I'm not saying like definitively crushes her, but he's starting to rival her in performance. How does that, signal the future for hyper carries and, players like yourself who are now, I mean, obviously it didn't shake you up any way, shape, or form, because you're still going for that C6 Hu Tao. But as a Hu Tao player, how did Alhaitham and the arrival of Dendro make you feel about the scaling of hyper carries going forward?
I don't feel shaken at all. I think that we should have more options because not everybody likes Hu Tao.
Yes. Yes.
Alhaitham is a great character at every investment, but people have to remember that Hu Tao is paired with Yelan and Xinqiu. You can invest in Xinqiu and Yelan as well, not only in Hu Tao. I did some comparisons. I actually have a very good friend of mine who happened to get Alhaitham with his signature weapon. It's much closer than you think. It actually depends on the player, on the pilot. If you're good with Alhaitham, you'll get similar results. If you're good with Hu Tao, you will outperform.
That's what I realized as well, especially in like single target boss fights. Alhaitham struggles to keep up with Hu Tao. But when we start talking about grouped enemies, that's when things shifts in Alhaitham's favor.
I would argue that that's not really the case. While he has an advantage, it's not as polarizing as people think. You can charge attack through enemies with Hu Tao, right?
Like I call it skewering. Like you can skewer enemies with Hu Tao. And by the way, for people who don't know, I'm also a Hu Tao main. I've been playing her C1 R1 since her release. So like people oftentimes, like you were saying, they write off Hu Tao in multiple enemy situations because they deem her just a single target enemies. But like we were talking about the skewering, depending on, like you also said, the player, the pilot. If you are using animation cancels correctly, using her dash cancels to reposition yourself.
But people realize that she has an area of effect ultimate, right?
Yeah, of course. but
that you can vape with.
Yes.
Crimson Witch Hu Tao will hit 200k plus.
Oh, now, okay, artifacts is a whole nother thing because I've made this point.
We will get there.
Yeah, I've also made this point that Shimenawa you can also use her ult with Shimenawa. A lot of people feel like, oh, if I run Shimenawa Hu Tao, I basically turn her into a Yoimiya. I can never use her ult, but that is not quite true, right? That is not true because because Xingqiu can run Fav, Yalan can run Fav, Zhongli obviously right now runs Fav. I run Favonius Zhongli, I run Yalan on her signature weapon, and I run Xingqiu on Sack Sword, and my Hu Tao is still able to use her burst even running Shimenawa. So don't let Shimenawa lock you out of that potential. But
Shimenawa is actually better than Crimson Witch.
Yeah, in terms of damage, right? But it's just a little more difficult to make it work if people don't know how to build the other characters in terms of weapons. So without Zhongli's Fab weapon, I don't think I'll be able to get that burst back in time. But then again, I can always use Hu Tao herself to be on field, and I end with her burst, right? But then and then use the Fab weapon and the additional particles to regenerate at least 15 particles to activate Shimenawa again. So it's just like there's so many play arounds, people, that you shouldn't really hinder yourself. And arguably Xingqiu, Yelan, and Zhongli are the three best right now, like Fab weapon users. It's crazy. They're all on the team. If you wanted to, you can run 3 Fab weapons on all 3 of these characters, and they're still considered meta options. So don't let that ever be a deterrent to play Shimenawa Hu Tao.
This team, in my opinion, is the best single target killing team in the game, period.
I agree.
I don't think that there's a character that can output upwards of 1 million damage in a single E uptime.
Well, okay. The argument here really is like, are you saying at C0 or C1? Because Yoimiya C6, I believe, can rival this team's single target damage, but she has to be C6. Without C6, Yoimiya, she struggles to compete here as well. But once
you don't understand the power gap between the two, right? You mentioned C6 Yoimiya and C1 Hu Tao.
No. But Hu Tao's C6 doesn't directly increase her single target damage unless you activate her burst. Okay, I get it if you say, okay, C6 Hu Tao with her burst activated doing charge attacks. But that is every 60 seconds, I believe. And then you lose that consistency. But then who in this game is surviving a C6 Hu Tao running like 300% crit damage? Nothing is surviving that damage. However, have we realized that Hoyoverse are starting to put 2-phase bosses, like Magu Genki has 2 phases, the Mechanic Array has 2 phases. Once they reach a certain HP, you just can't get any lower. They'll start entering a different phase of the fight, right? So that is in my opinion, that is a huge counter to characters like Eula, to characters like Hu Tao, who have these like one-off bursts and of damage, especially C6 Hu Tao. I mean, Hu Tao C1 doesn't care. She honestly couldn't care less. But
would C6 care? You can always still play her if she was C1 with the extras of C3 and C5.
That's true. So, but then she pretty much regresses from a C6 back to a C1 character. Even yes, her C2, C4 is still useful, but then we're now on the topic of Hu Tao vertical scaling potential, right? When I've said in the past, and if you've watched my videos, you should know that I've said Hu Tao's constellations are, in my opinion, weak-ish compared to some of the other constellations we have in the game.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Yeah, and like obviously Hoyoverse is never going to go back and rework these constellations, or else a lot of these characters would have been fixed to begin with, like Zhao. But yeah, so walk me through how you think, like, somebody who's just coming into playing Hu Tao or thinking about investing into Hu Tao or trying to build up their Hu Tao, what is something you are advising them to do right now?
If you're not going for C1 right away, learn how to jam cancel, or you're not going to enjoy the character. Period.
Right. Okay.
Invest into Xingqiu as if he was a hyper carry. You need the damage. get Zhongli as soon as possible. I don't know why people wouldn't roll for Zhongli. He's not a DPS loss. In fact, he's a DPS increase because you don't have to dodge. You know, you can face tank. You can face tank everything in the game, and keep attacking. But if you don't have Zhongli, you can't do that.
Yeah, I think at this point I've made that point as well so many times, but people still argue like, oh, but mathematically, it's like,
no, it's not mathematically. We are correct. We are correct mathematically because you don't move, you just attack.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Sorry.
No. I love it.
I got cheated.
No, I love it because you are
theory crafters always forget the human factor of the game.
Right. They treat us like machines. They're treating us all like just like raw gamers from birth, right? We're all just raw talented playing on like 13 ping on like a freaking spaceship computer.
Yeah, that's theory crafters think that we are Kirito from Sword Art Online.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, we're not. We're not. We're human.
Yeah, that's true. I think Zhongli can just make like your errors just go bye-bye. All your mistakes, all your imperfections in the game, like, oh, I messed up my rotation. Nope, it's okay, it's fine, right?
Now imagine if you are good at the game and you have Zhongli.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, you're unstoppable. Yeah,
that's
it. Roll for Zhongli, guys. He's the real star of the show.
Yeah, I agree, because I treat most people who watch my video as just ordinary people. I don't sing praises of players. I don't undersell them. I for example, you have arms, you have fingers, you have hands, and you're just like a normal functioning human. I think Zhongli is a great investment, right? You're gonna make mistakes, you're gonna mess up here and there, and Zhongli will make sure that your playing experience is so much smoother than had you just tried for a max DPS team. But anyways, Anjay, we are nearing the end here. I want to give the opportunity for closing statements to you, so you can say whatever you want in terms of closing statements for Hu Tao or for anything else. We're getting to like 20 minutes or something here, so yeah, go ahead, say anything you want.
If you want to invest in Hu Tao, go for it. When you reach the C1R1, you will have the best single target DPS in the game, period. Do it.
All right.
And if you like her character, even better. I love her character. I'm going all the way to C6. Spend your Primogems wisely.
So you're saying if they invest into Hu Tao, they shouldn't like suddenly do a 180 and then also go invest into a bunch of other DPS characters, leaving Hu Tao C0 with free-to-play weapon. If you like Hu Tao, just go for it and eventually work your way up to C1 R1. That's like what people should be aiming for. All right?
Yep.
So you guys heard it here first. True and dedicated Hu Tao main apart from myself. Although this isn't much of like a debate or argument, I do appreciate different perspectives, and consider this the episode 1 of these kind of videos. If you guys do enjoy this, you know, like, comment, do all that good stuff. And yeah, hit me up if you guys have other topics you want to talk to me about. Like you guys see here, I'm completely open to discussing things with people. It's just most of the time they're in written format, and Anjay was kind enough here to come on and actually have a verbal conversation. You know, we're all deprived of human interactions every now and then, and so thank you so much, Anjay. And yeah, until next time,
no problem.
Urge y'all to stay safe. Peace. Anjay, do the sign off.
Peace, guys.
Peace. Bye.
See you on the other side.
Oh, okay. Like true Hu Tao main.